Hello everybody and welcome to This Upbeat Life, the show where we take a light-hearted look at life and go on a journey to find out how people stay physically and mentally happy. I'm Simon JJ Green and I'll be interviewing ordinary, bog-standard people as well as looking at the latest in wellness, health science, nature and the quirkier side of the health and wellbeing industry. Now, let's get cracking with today's episode. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Upbeat Life, episode 21. I'm Simon JJ Green and I like to take a cheeky look at the world of health and wellness and how we stay happy. On today's show, first up, microplastics in chewing gum and horror of horrors in teabags. Yes, chew on this. Yes, on Quick News, the bit of the show where I find something terrifying in a health headline and try and make you laugh about it before your tea goes cold. Today's topic, plastic. Again, but this time specifically the plastic you didn't know that you were eating, because apparently it's not enough that microplastics are prevalent in our oceans, our soil, and reportedly in our actual brains now. No, they've also managed to infiltrate a sacred British institution, our proper cup of tea, as well as one of America's well-known pastimes, chewing gum. Let's start with gum. Researchers at UCLA, bless them, someone has to do it, got a very patient PhD student named Lisa to chew 7 pieces each of 10 different gum brands, both your bog-standard synthetic stuff and the fancy natural plant-based gum that wellness influencers swear by because basically it's just tree sap, babe. Now, plot twist. Chewing 1 gram of synthetic gum released an average of 104 microplastic particles, while 1 gram of natural gum released 96, practically neck and neck. So that smug bit of organic chewing gum you bought from the health shop for the price of a small car is, chemically speaking, basically chewing on a plastic bag with delusions of grandeur. And here's the bit that will really put you off your gum. A stick of gum can release up to 600 microplastic fragments, and people who chew around 180 pieces a year could be ingesting roughly 30,000 microplastics annually. 30,000, yikes. And before you ask, yes, even the eco gums are in on it because, plot twist number 2, manufacturers often add plastic deliberately using ingredients like polyethylene, the same stuff you get in shopping bags, as part of the gum base. So next time someone tells you that they only chew clean gum, feel free to gleefully inform them that they are in fact chewing a bag for life. Personally, I gave up chewing gum about a year ago when I found out about all of this shenanigans. And I've been chewing gum for about 40 plus years now, and by their calculations, I've ingested about 11 billion plastic particles just from gum alone, enough to fill a wheelie bin and taste like it too. Now, and I do apologize in advance because some of you may find this next bit a bit distressing. Let's talk about tea. I know, I'm sorry, sacred ground and all that, but hold on to your hobnobs. A study out of McGill University in Canada decided to take some tea bags, the posh pyramid kind, cut them open and dump out the leaves and just brew the empty bags on their own to see what happened. What happened, guys, was apocalyptic. A single plastic tea bag, steeped at brewing temperature, allegedly released about 11.6 billion microplastic particles and 3.1 billion nanoplastic particles into the water. That's a billion with a B. That's not a cup of tea. No, that's a plastic factory having a meltdown in a mug. Meanwhile, your nan's bone china teapot, the one with the roses on it where she's been brewing loose leaf tea like it's 1952, that's completely fine. But those fancy pyramid bags everyone's moved to because they let the leaves breathe, not so good, guys. Lots of plastic specks directly into your Earl Grey. I mean, the irony of switching to posh tea bags for a better brew only to accidentally microdose yourself with nylon is almost too on brand for 2026. But to be fair to the scientists, though, nobody's hit the panic button just yet. The full health effects of ingesting these particles are still being studied, and even the gum researcher himself said, very diplomatically, that the goal isn't to alarm anybody, which is exactly the sort of thing you say right before you alarm everybody, though I haven't grown an extra nipple or anything else, sadly, just yet. Now, if you're vaguely health conscious and looking for a brand of plastic-free tea, Pucker and Rooted Teas from the UK lead the way, while over in the USA, Stash, Republic of Teas and Bromley Teas are stated as being plastic free, so you can have your cup of cha and drink it. So what I've learnt so far, besides some mild existential dread with my 11s, is that if you want to dodge the worst of it, go for loose leaf tea or proper paper tea bags over the plastic pyramid kind. And if you're a serial gum chewer, maybe don't just treat a single piece of gum like a 4-hour endurance event. Just remember, most of the damage happens in the first couple of minutes of chewing anyway, so you're not actually losing much flavour by retiring it early. And remember to dispose of your gum responsibly. Either way, gum, tea, doesn't matter. It seems that two of our great coping mechanisms have both been quietly plasticated behind our backs. Typical. Go on then, stick the kettle on. Oh, did someone say digestives? On The Real Deal, JOMO, or the joy of missing out, or sod it, I'm staying in. Yes, the intentional act of disconnecting from social pressures and finding peace in solitude. Right, the kettle's on, plastic content notwithstanding, and we're settling in for the real deal, the bit of the show where we actually sit with a topic for more than the length of a TikTok. Today's subject is one I suspect a lot of you are already experts in without realizing it. It's called JOMO, the joy of missing out. And when researching this segment, I thought it would be nice to call it the happiness of missing out. But apparently that acronym isn't going to fly. Now, if you've ever cancelled plans, put your phone in a drawer and felt a small private wave of relief in your chest, congratulations, you've been doing wellness this whole time, you smart person you. So let's start with the villain of the piece, because every bit of joy needs a nemesis. FOMO. The fear of missing out. I mean, you all know it. It's that feeling, the one you get scrolling through Instagram at 11:30 at night, watching someone you went to school with apparently living inside an Aperol Spritz advert in Bali, while you're in the living room under a blanket eating toast over your laptop so the crumbs don't get on the sofa. Our psychologists have actually had a proper go at explaining why this stings so much, and it comes down to something painfully undignified. A like lights up the same dopamine pathway in your brain as actual rewards do, like someone handing you your favourite chocolate. Mine's a Galaxy, just saying. So social media essentially has trained us in a Pavlovian response where the reward is a glowing rectangle and some mild self-loathing. Now, the pressure isn't just digital either. In a very British way, FOMO is less missing the party and more missing the obligation, feeling like you have to show up to the leaving drinks or the hen do or the work thing with a sad selection of vol au vents, purely because saying no feels like a personality crime. One commonly cited figure doing the rounds suggests something like 7 in 10 employees don't properly switch off even when they're meant to be on holiday, which frankly explains why everyone looks so vaguely haunted by August. So enter JOMO, stage left, wearing pyjama bottoms, bunny ear slippers. No, I don't have any. Okay, maybe I do. And looking thoroughly pleased with itself. The term has been kicking around for a while now, but it's having a proper renaissance, partly thanks to burnout, partly thanks to people simply running out of steam on hustle culture, and partly, I suspect, because everyone's just knackered slaving away for the man. The core idea is very basic. Instead of treating missing out as a tragedy to end all tragedies, you treat it as a choice. You're not failing to attend the thing. You are actively and gloriously opting out of the thing. And that small reframe, that act of self-rebellion, can change everything about how it feels. And there's growing research interest in JOMO specifically as something you can deliberately practice, not just accidentally stumble into. One study looked at what happened when several major social platforms went down for hours in a global outage a few years back, total accidental digital blackout. And while some people did spiral with classic FOMO anxiety, plenty of others reported something else entirely. Relief, calm, a sort of, oh, thank God I'm allowed to just exist now feeling, which tells you something, gosh darn it, that for a lot of us, the discomfort isn't coming from missing out on real life. It's coming from missing out on the parody of life. The circus where you're the ringmaster. Two very different things. And funnily enough, only one of them actually matters. But unfortunately, something had to come and screw all this up for everybody. JOMO has gone and got itself a holiday brochure. Would you believe it? Travel writers have cottoned on that people don't just want JOMO as a vague mood anymore. They want to book it. There's a whole minor trend now of UK staycations built entirely around this concept. Yeah, of course there is. Like slow walks in the Norfolk Broads, wandering off the beaten path in Cornwall, or pottering about the Lake District with no itinerary beyond see Windermere, look at Windermere, and possibly have a pint or 5 near Windermere. The entire Jomo pitch is no rushing, no ticking off a list of Instagrammable landmarks, just you, some sturdy boots, a flask of tea and some hobnobs, and the radical act of being somewhere without documenting it. Yes, I said it. I know. Blasphemy. But you can't get more poetic than us Brits turning missing out into a tourism industry. But let's not pretend that this is just a marketing wheeze. You are one person with one finite stretch of time, and every single yes you give to one thing is quietly a no to thousands of other things that you'll never know about. You are never going to read every book or visit every country, attend every party or watch every show everyone tells you that you just have to watch. No, once you accept that, you stop experiencing your limits as failure and start experiencing them as, as life, the actual one you've got. In fact, it's the only one you've got. So what does practicing Jomo look like beyond booking a windswept Airbnb in the Scottish Highlands and throwing your phone in a lock? I think it has to get genuinely intentional with your time. You can get comfortable saying no without an apologetic essay attached, because it turns out that no thank you is a complete sentence and no one's actually going to call the police. So the slightly twisted irony, of course, is that Jomo has now become its own trend with its own hashtag, its own listicles, and presumably its own influencers. Missing out has somewhat magnificently become something people now feel FOMO about not doing properly. We've turned introversion into a competitive sport. Now, truly, we can't be stopped. But cynicism aside. What, me? Cynical? Never. I'm going to be serious for a fleeting nanosecond. Not every gap in your calendar needs filling. Now, personally, I'm absolutely delighted when I have a day off in my calendar from doing stuff. Embrace the times where you have said no and you can shuffle around the house in your undies, scoffing Jaffa cakes and singing Sweet Caroline. Don't judge, it's one of my favourite songs. And that's the real deal. Go on, switch your phone to Do Not Disturb, put the kettle on properly this time, no dodgy tea bags, and let's wander into something a bit dafter, because next up is far out stuff. On far out stuff, frogs in milk. That's meant to be an echoey space sound thing, but it didn't work. Ribbit. Yes, indeedy, Kermit the Frog's buddies used to be a method to keep milk fresh. It's true. Prior to modern refrigeration, milk had the shelf life of a celebrity marriage and could turn sour while you're still deciding whether to have another slice of toast or not. So people in rural Russia and Finland put a frog in their milk to stop it spoiling. Right, lads, this milk's going off. Any ideas? Have you tried a frog? Brilliant. Go and get one from the pond. While early communities mistakenly believed the amphibian's cold-blooded body temperature kept the liquid chilled, modern science has validated that the frog in the milk method functions effectively because of the frog's unique skin chemistry. Now, I don't want to bore you with a lot of science, so I'm going to bore you with a little bit of science. The frog's skin has antimicrobial peptides, which obviously you knew. The specific species utilized, the European brown frog, secretes rich chemical compounds called peptides through its skin. These peptides act as localized, sort of highly effective antibiotics and antifungals. When immersed, these skin secretions neutralize invasive pathogens like Salmonella and Staphylococcus, drastically slowing down the fermentation process that turns milk sour. But a quick warning, you don't want to be using any Amazonian tree frogs, as this would have a completely different outcome. Strangely enough, this centuries-old folk remedy transitioned into a formal subject of microbiological research. Because these peptides successfully terminate bacteria that are notoriously resilient to standard medicine, global medical experts continue to analyze them to develop groundbreaking antibiotics capable of fighting drug-resistant superbugs, all thanks to a frog. But can you imagine, somewhere in rural Finland, a family is sitting down to breakfast. Is the milk all right, Olav? Yes, perfectly fresh, Anna. Are you sure? Yeah, of course, the frog's still in it. He hasn't hopped it. But you do have to wonder how the original discovery happened. Perhaps someone accidentally dropped a frog into a bucket of milk, I don't know, and rather than screaming and throwing the entire bucket and frog into the nearest field, they came back the next day and said, well, it's not gone off. How odd. Trevor, get another frog. Obviously, it's not a method you will find recommended by the Food Standards Agency. Modern guidance tends to focus on refrigeration, pasteurization, and not allowing wildlife to do the backstroke in your breakfast. So next time your milk goes off and makes you miserable, don't panic. Just remember that somewhere in history, someone looked at that exact problem that you have and thought, this needs a frog. Until next time, my friends, stay happy, do good, and don't forget, you can leave me a message on SpeakPipe. Details are in the show notes, or you can email me at thisupbeatlife@gmail.com, and I'll read those out in the upcoming show. Adios! And that's it for today. Thanks for listening, everybody. As always, I'd appreciate it if you could like, follow, and subscribe to my show, This Upbeat Life, so I know I'm on the right track. And even better, leave a review and share it with your friends. Until next time, remember, happiness is the best medicine. Cheerio!